Good morning. This is a little tutorial about how to use clipping masks, clipping paths in Photoshop and how to use them afterwards in InDesign. So I've created a quick little path right here around this green rubber ducky. And you can see in my path panel right here, it's a file, it's a path right there that is called green ducky. If I want to select anything that I've created as a path, I have to go and use my path selection tool right here in Photoshop, and I have to be in the path panel. I have to select my path, because if I deselect the path in the panel right here, I can't select anything. So if I have to select first my path right there in my panel, and then I can actually select it and and then modify it if I want to. So to modify that, I can use the direct selection tool, just like in Illustrator, just like in InDesign. You can just grab an anchor, move it around, change the handles, etc., etc. So it's just a regular path. So this is pretty rough. I didn't pay too much attention to it. You can see it's slightly off course right here. You can fix that quickly right here. There you go. So clipping paths are really good for hard defined objects, like very geometric shapes, like bottles and rubber duckies in this case. And this is very easy because it's got a white background. So it's very, very quick and easy to create one. So I have called my path green ducky. I just have to double click on it and then call it green ducky right there. And it's a Photoshop document, so it's in PSD, right? It's a layer 0. It's a regular Photoshop document. So what I do now is I'm going to switch over to InDesign, and I've created a document with a black background so we can see what we're doing. And I'm going to place that rubber ducky image. So I'm just going to go under File, Place, or Command D, right, on the Macintosh, and I find my little rubber duckies right there called duckies.psd. If I place my image right here, click and drag, my background has, I have the whole background, the white background, the yellow ducky. I have the whole image right here. So if I want to use the clipping mask from Photoshop in InDesign, I select my image right here. I go under Object, and I go under Clipping Path right here. And my mouse is a little sticky, sorry about that. And I go under Options right here. And at this point, I get this little dialog window right here. There's no path selected. InDesign wants to know which one I'm selecting. So I pull down this little window right here, and it says Detect Edges, Alpha Channel, and then Photoshop Path. Because we have one in Photoshop, it transfers over. So I click on that one, and automatically it picks it up, right? It picks up the green ducky right here. And there's my green ducky right here. So if I actually go into presentation mode, it just floats right here. My frame is still the full-size frame for my my whole image. So that's how you do it very quickly. Another thing is when you have multiple clipping paths. So we're going to go and right-click on this thing, edit original. So I go back into Photoshop. I'm going to create another masks on a clipping path, on the yellow ducky this time. So I'm going to go into my image right here. I'm just going to deselect my path, go into my image right here. And the quickest way on this particular case, because you have a white background, is to go into Select Subject right here. It'll select all of the objects right here. So because there's a really hard contrast with a white background. So I want to select just the yellow ducky. So I'm going to, press and hold my Shift key and then select what is already selected on this side. Oops, sorry, we're the other way around. Sorry, I pressed my Option or Alt key right here. Sorry, the other way around. And then I deselect my green ducky, and I just want to keep the yellow one right here. And then go back into my path right here. And I have that little option at the bottom of the window right here. It says Make Work Path from Selection. So I'm going to click on that, and it creates a path right there. So that's the quickest way. You can also create it from scratch using the pen tool, and that's good practice as well. So now I have 2 work paths. So at this point, I have 2 paths again. So just by, if you want to modify the yellow ducky path, you have to have it highlighted in your path panel. and then you can use your different selection tools, or your pen tool again to delete some anchors, for example, to smooth things out. Just very quickly, you can do this very quickly right here. I'm just going to delete all of those right here. It's a little time consuming sometimes, but yeah, so that's just a way to do things very, very quickly right here. So again, I have a work path and a green ducky. So the work path is still just a work path, just that it hasn't been saved as an actual path. So if I save this document right here, I go back into my InDesign, and I go back again into my object, clipping path right here, options. I still have only the green ducky. The work path that I have in Photoshop is not registering here in InDesign. So I can switch back again in Photoshop. Actually, I'm just going to do this. Actually, I'm going to do edit original. That way it updates the link. And I'm going to double click on my work path right here. And I'm going to call it, oh, guess what? Yellow ducky. And I'm going to save my document. Switch back into InDesign, and now this image has been linked. The link has been updated automatically. I go back into my object again, clipping path, options, and in this case right here, I have both of them appearing. So I can choose between the yellow ducky, I'll move this out of the way, or the green ducky right here to preview them in my document. So that's great. So the thing is, the clipping paths, the software, both in Photoshop and InDesign, only recognizes one at a time. So what do I do if I want to show both of them? Well, I can do this. I can just move this one out of the way a little bit, and I'm just going to duplicate that guy. So I'm just going to press and hold my Alt on the PC or Option key on the Mac, just to duplicate that guy right here. So it's the same image, and I'm just going to go into Object again, clipping path, Option. I'm going to switch that one to the green ducky. And now I have the same image twice placed in my document. You can see in the links right here, it is placed twice. And then I have both elements. So I can just, move that guy over right here, overlapping it. I can reduce the size of my image frame. I don't really need that to have it extended out like this. And there you go. That's how you do clipping paths in Photoshop and how you transfer them over into InDesign.